of Universitas Gadjah Mada. It started with a workshop 2 years ago, actually. And a number of chapters in the book, actually, it was based on research done by the students at CRCS, but we have also other chapters written by other authors. The second organization is ICRS, Indonesian Consortium for Religious Studies, which also runs a PhD program in interreligious studies, which is located also at the Graduate School of Universitas Gadjah Mada. And then the other, well, these are two Indonesian institutions. And then we have one institution in between, Netherlands and Indonesia, which is the Netherlands-Indonesia Consortium for Muslim-Christian Relations, which is a consortium established 10 years ago. So this consortium is now, this year is going to celebrate its 10th anniversary. And it has several working groups. And one of them is a working group on ecology. So in the final stage of the publications of this book, the consortium also joined the collaboration to support this publication. And then last but not least, Radboud University of Nijmegen, the institution in which Professor Frans Wijsen is based. The book actually is published in a book series published by Nijmegen University. So we're grateful also for the Radboud University to include this book as part of this series on social change. So the series of book is on social change. So since the beginning until the end, this is a form of collaborations, and we are proud to be in this collaborations, and we have had plans to continue this publication, doing research as well as other forms of collaboration. One of them is actually we are now running a research project on human and nature between CRCS, ICRS, and Radboud University, as well as the consortium. And we also have been thinking actually of creating a double degree, focusing on this issue also on religion and ecology. So many organizations are involved here, but I have to mention also organizations have faces. There are also people, certain people who are very important in this collaboration. I would like to introduce Professor Frans Wijsen, who is a co-editor of this book from Radboud University. As well as Professor Michael Northcott, who have been with us at ICRS since 2019. So he has been here with us for 2 years. Without these two esteemed professors, this book will not come into, will not see the light of the day. So we're happy that now this book is published. Before I introduce everyone here, I will ask later Professor Ika and then Professor Hilda to give an opening remark. But before that, to give a better idea about the contents of this book, we have a short video about the book. So please, Mas Akbar, if you can show the film now, please. Well, I have to say this is the voice of the authors here. I didn't hear the voice. Mas Akbar, can you make sure the voice is out? I'm sorry for this technical issue. Please bear with us for a few seconds. I hope we can see the film in full. Yeah. Well, still there's no sound. Ah. Yeah. We actually have rehearsed this and it worked okay before.
Antara fikih tradisional dan epistemologi Marxis dalam melihat penelitian saya tentang Nahdien untuk kedaulatan sumber daya alam atau FNKSDA, sebuah gerakan lingkungan progresif yang diinisiasi oleh anak-anak muda Nahdlatul Ulama dan berbasis kultural. Lokasi penelitian saya di Kulon Progo, tepatnya ketika aktivis FNKSDA sedang melakukan advokasi bagi warga yang terdampak oleh pembangunan Bandara Yogyakarta atau Yogyakarta International Airport. Salah satu aspek penting penelitian ini adalah bahwa FNKSDA memadukan antara fikih tradisional dan epistemologi Marxis dalam melihat kerusakan lingkungan di Indonesia, sehingga mereka tidak hanya berfokus pada aspek teologis dan etis saja, tetapi melakukan advokasi langsung terhadap warga-warga yang terdampak oleh krisis lingkungan.
Penelitian ini berfokus pada klaim kawasan suci yang berdasarkan ajaran Hindu Bali sebagai salah satu argumentasi dalam penolakan rencana reklamasi di Teluk Benoa. Penelitian ini menunjukkan bagaimana pengertian kawasan suci dibentuk oleh kepercayaan yang kemudian diadopsi ke dalam peraturan resmi pemerintah dan dipakai dalam diskusi publik.
Kelompok kami meneliti perubahan pemahaman sekelompok orang Kristen Jawa di Jawa Timur yang mewarisi pemahaman teologis berupa eksploitasi alam. Tetapi pengalaman kerusakan ekologi di habitat mereka menyebabkan mereka menggali kembali teologi leluhur yang bersahabat dengan alam. Mereka kemudian menggabungkan warisan teologi ini dengan teologi leluhur, sehingga melahirkan pemahaman yang seimbang di antara Tuhan, manusia, dan alam non-manusia. Teologi campuran ini menyebabkan mereka mengajak tetangga yang non-Kristen untuk merehabilitasi alam, sehingga pekerjaan mereka merupakan pekerjaan lintas batas agama, dan hasilnya adalah rehabilitasi hutan mangrove yang tadinya sudah habis ditebang.
Penelitian ini berfokus pada kemunculan ritual kepercayaan tradisional Karo dalam konteks erupsi Gunung Sinabung di Kabupaten Karo, Sumatera Utara. Masyarakat di kaki Gunung Sinabung, khususnya di Desa Mardinding, sebuah desa yang paling dekat dengan puncak Gunung Sinabung, melaksanakan ritual merebuah huta-huta, yakni memberi sesaji kepada beberapa pohon beringin dan batu besar yang mereka sebut nini atau nenek. Tujuan utama ritual ini adalah untuk memohon keselamatan desa dan agar erupsi Gunung Sinabung dapat berhenti. Namun narasi religius tersebut dikejam oleh gereja, khususnya gereja Batak Karo Protestan, yang menganggapnya sebagai ritual bersifat animistik. Sebab kebanyakan praktisi ritual adalah warga jemaat gereja tersebut. Penelitian ini berupaya memahami makna ritual tersebut dari sudut pandang praktisi ritual, sehingga ditemukan satu aspek penting, bahwa mereka melihat pohon dan batu besar tersebut sebagai person yang berperan penting dalam kehidupannya dan menjaga keselamatannya dari erupsi Gunung Sinabung.
Bab yang saya tulis tentang sebuah praktik adat masyarakat negeri Haruku di Maluku yang dikenal dengan sasi. Kajian ini menggunakan paradigma ekologi adat, yaitu paradigma berdasarkan pada kepercayaan, nilai-nilai kosmologi, dan worldview masyarakat lokal. Hasil studi ini menunjukkan bahwa praktik adat yang ekologis bukan semata-mata untuk tujuan konservasi dan pelestarian alam, melainkan untuk memelihara keseimbangan relasi antara manusia, leluhur, makhluk atau benda alam lainnya. Dalam relasi ini, makhluk atau benda alam lain diposisikan sebagai subjek, sebagaimana halnya dengan manusia yang saling bergantung, saling mempengaruhi, dan bersama-sama bertanggung jawab dalam menjaga keseimbangan alam.
Penelitian saya dalam buku ini berbicara tentang sebuah analisis terhadap bentuk relasi ekologis Batak Toba di desa Cianjur Mula-Mula, Samosir, Sumatera Utara. Masyarakat Batak Toba di desa ini mendasari relasi itu pada religiusitas mereka sendiri. Pendekatan indigenous religion dengan konsep relasi intersubjektif menghadirkan satu pemahaman baru tentang praktik Batak Toba yang sangat dekat dengan alam. Saya mengangkat satu contoh praktik ekologis, ritual harbu ini yang dilakukan untuk membujuk tondinya padi sebelum benih padi disemaikan. Refleksi atas ritual ini menunjukkan bahwa masyarakat Batak Toba bukanlah pemuja roh, karena mereka bukan berelasi secara hierarkikal dengan padi. Bentuk relasi mereka adalah relasi yang didasari pada reciprocal responsibility dan etis, karena bagi mereka semua entitas di luar manusia adalah person yang memiliki tondi, sebagaimana manusia juga memiliki tondi.
Kajian ini menginterpretasikan aktivisme komunitas Banyu Bening, sebuah komunitas pemanen air hujan swadaya di Yogyakarta. Berangkat dari refleksi nilai-nilai Islam dan jalinan praktek lintas agama dan lintas sektor, aktivisme komunitas ini menjadi bagian dari proyek kontrahegemoni. Aktivisme yang dilakukan mendorong transformasi tata kelola air yang saat ini mengalami krisis karena syarat ketimpangan. Praktek komunitas ini juga menunjukkan penerjemahan aktif manusia sebagai subjek religiusitas, sekaligus sebagai subjek aksi kolektif dalam relasi manusia dan air sebagai sumber kehidupan.
In my chapter, co-authored with Haryani Saptaningtyas, we study the relationship between the pollution of Citarum River in West Java and purification in Islamic thought. Our question is, how come that Citarum River is one of the most polluted rivers in the world, whereas the people who live there are Muslims, and purity is a central value in Islam? We look at this tension from the perspective of the cognitive dissonance theory. This theory argues that people experience inconsistency between cognition and practices as unpleasant, and that they therefore try to harmonize. In our study, based on fieldwork, we saw that most people said that there was no relationship between pollution and purification. Pollution was seen as a government affair, and purification was a religious affair. Thus, they separated the material and the spiritual world. However, in their daily life, most people drew upon religions and religious ideas to deal with their need of water for domestic and ritual needs. we concluded that policymakers must look more at the living religion outside the religious institutions if they want to include religion in river management.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mas Akbar. So yeah, that is just a sneak peek of the book. Well, if you go to the website of CRCS, crcs.ugm.ac.id or ICRS.or.id, you will find a little bit more explanation of the book, the table of contents, as well as the introduction. For the full book, in the chat, Ani has given the link. Well, we hope we can make it more widely available later. But for now, yeah, I suggest you to go to the website of ICRS and CRCS to find out more. So next, I will ask Professor Ika Dewi Ana, who is the Vice Rector of UGM. Thank you very much, Bu Ika, to be with us today. And I'm happy that you are available now to give some opening remark for our program. Please, Bu Ika, time is yours.
Okay. Thank you very much, Professor Zainal. Selamat siang, selamat pagi, good morning, good afternoon. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First, on behalf of Universitas Gadjah Mada, I would like to send our best gratitude from Bulak Sumur. This is the locations of our campus. In these pandemic situations, we must thank God because we stay healthy and safe and still can contribute to the society through education, research, and community services. We must thank God because these days we have opportunities to be more reflective, silent, and aware of everything happens in our life. Secondly, I send our rector's best regard to us. He cannot attend this meeting because rector and his team are now preparing emergency actions at Dr. Sarjito Hospital and UGM Academic Hospital during the total lockdown. Hopefully, this will not disturb the quality of the meeting. On behalf of Universitas Gadjah Mada, we also would like to congratulate Professor Zainal Abidin Bagir, Professor Michael S. Northcott, and Professor Franz Weisen of the Radboud University Nijmegen as the editors and all the contributors for having the book entitled Varieties of Religion and Ecology, Dispatches from Indonesia published. We are proud that studies on the relations between human and nature, especially in religion and ecology, become the focus in Indonesian Consortium for Religious Studies and Center for Religious and Cross-Cultural Studies. As we notice, each civilization has its own perspective or system of thinking about religion and cultures, as well as about religion and ecology. There are a lot of research or studies dealing with indigenous perspective on religion and ecology across countries or communities. This morning, I learned about this from several resources. And to us in Universitas Gadjah Mada, If we can document, review, or critically appraise and disseminate or jointly publish in the consortium networks, such as in the Netherlands-Indonesia Consortium for Muslim-Christian Relations, this will be valuable knowledge resources for our next or future generations. They can learn it across perspective, across civilizations, and across periods. Knowledge about religion and ecology is not only important as the subject of the studies for us. It is also important for us and for young generations to connect them with the essence of life, with God. Religion and ecology are an important subject for us in UGM because it is the fundamental aspect to understand science in the bigger context comprehensively. For example, from my perspective, from 6,666 verses in the Quran, there are 763 verses related to science and nature, or we call it the Qawliyah or Qur'aniyah verses, which are equivalent to Kauniyah verses scattered in the universe, in nano, micro, and macrocosmos. As a person working in the area in the border between material science and biological science, I can feel that deeply. So this is an important subject for us, not only for UGM, but I think also for all of us. If we intend to educate our future generation with humanity and integrity, religion and ecology will be of significant area to learn, to hone spiritual acumen, or in bahasa Indonesia ketajaman nurani, ruhani, intelligence or kecerdasan, patience or kesabaran, perseverance or ketekunan, probity or kebersihan hati, and submissions or ketundukan or tawadu as a prerequisite to conserve human dignity. So again, congratulations for editors and all the contributors. Congratulations for ICRS and CRCS and also to Netherlands-Indonesia Consortium for Muslim-Christian Relations. Coincidentally, this is a collaboration between Universitas Gadjah Mada and Radboud University Nijmegen, a university where I was doing my postdoctoral research supported by KNAW from 2007 to 2009. This way, personally, I cannot only congratulate, but also have to say that I'm proud of it. I still remember the logo of Radboud University Nijmegen, in Dei Nomini Feliciter, happily in the name of God. So thank you very much. Once again, congratulations. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Bu Ika. Next, I'd like to call Bu Hilda Ismail, the Vice Dean of the Graduate School at Universitas Gadjah Mada, which hosts both the master's program of CRCS as well as the doctoral program of ICRS. Please, Bu Hilda, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Pak Zainal Abidin. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm very happy to see you all here. Professor Norcroft, Professor Franz Mason, Bapak Gerrit Singhi, and everybody. Firstly, I would like to pass warm greetings from our Dean, Professor Dr. Insinyur Siti Mahkamah. Unfortunately, at the same time now, Professor Mahkamah has to read a doctoral final exam. So sorry that she cannot join this meeting. It's a very special meeting this afternoon. And she asked for apologize for her absence today. And therefore, she asked me to join this to represent her to give the speech today. Starting this message, let me express praise for the Almighty God, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, for His blessing that this event can successfully be held and that we are able to attend this special event today in a good health. On behalf of the Graduate School of Gajah Mada, here I would like to thank all of you for your presence and for your great attention to these events. Thank you to Bu Ika Diana, the Vice Rector, the Vice Rector, also to the Head of Study Programs and Graduate School of Pasca Sarjana of Gajah Mada, especially the Program Study of Interreligious Studies, Cross-Cultural and Religious Studies, also to the lecturers, students, and of course, all of the invitees for meeting today. In this moment, I would like to express how we are very proud and very happy for the publication of this book, which is very good to know that this is also written from the results of the students' thesis research. It can give a picture of how interesting, how good the research was done, and how attention of the student, and especially the lecturers and the team and the study program about the newest issues that's very important. I believe that this book will be very useful for the readers and for sure for the development of knowledge, mainly in the field of the cultural, religion, and environment. It is also very good to know that this book is supported by the Netherlands-Indonesian Consortium for Muslim-Christian Relations. This book has marked a good collaboration with the Radboud University Nijmegen, the Netherlands. Hopefully this collaboration will continue and grow, developed to produce other great and good, useful results for everybody. So here I would like to address our thanks, our appreciation and congratulations to these great special people who contribute to give birth this book, the writers and the editors. I would like to give this to Dr. Zainal Abidin, the editor of this book, to Professor Michael Northcott from Edinburgh University, also our lecturers in the IRS, as the editor of the book also. Special also to Professor Frans Wijsen from Radboud University in the Netherlands, who also contributed to this book. Here also we want to address our special thanks to the Netherlands-Indonesian Consortium Muslim-Christian Relationships. We also would like to give our appreciation and thank you to Professor Anna Gade at the Nelson University Institute for Environmental Studies, University of Wisconsin-Madison, who has given comment in this book too. So finally, again, congratulations. And to close this speech, let us pray a prayer, wishing that this special event will bring many benefits for all of us and also further fostering the cooperation that exists between the related universities. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Bu Hilda. This is not the first time that we collaborate with Radboud University, and we hope that we will continue this, doing research. And like I said earlier, we're also thinking about having a kind of double degree also with Radboud. We actually planned this program to be an offline book launching, but unfortunately the situation does not allow. But I'd like to show you that the book is real here. Oops.
The color is close to green, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay.
Okay. So this is the book. This is real. This is not only online, not only virtual book, but it's a real book. You can go to our website to find out more about the book. Before I ask my two co-editors, Frans and Michael, I'd like to also mention other authors who are present here. You have heard their voice, Ilham, and then Daud Sihombing, Professor Gerrit Singgi, Jekonia, who is also a student at ICRS, and then Ripka is here also and actually part of the organizer of this launching, and then Subandri Simbolon, who is teaching at the State Catholic College in Pontianak. We have also Maharani Hapsari, Dr. Maharani Hapsari from the Social Political Faculty, Political Sciences Faculty at UGM. And Franz and Michael. So thank you very much, everyone, to be here. And later, when it comes to the discussion session, if you have comments or whatever to one of the or questions to one of the authors, you are welcome. But for now, I'd like to ask Franz Wijsen to give your remark as one of the co-editors. Please, Pak Franz.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Good morning for those who are in Nijmegen and in Amsterdam. And I see another friends from Belanda. It's good to be here, and thank you for this opportunity to share a few thoughts about the book. Although I don't know if I have to add, if I can add more, because the video that was produced by ICRS and CRCS was really very nice and very informative. Thank you also for the kind words by the Vice Rector of Gajah Mada University, Bu Ika. Well, I understand that we have a common background in Radboud University, so that's good to know. Also the Vice Dean, Bu Hilda of the Graduate School. And well, I'm very happy to have this opportunity, but also happy that this collaboration really materialized, and it really shows that the existing memorandum of understanding between Gajah Mada University and Radboud University is not only paperwork, it is not only a signature under a piece of paper, but that it is really working. And as Pa Zainal said already, it did so in the past, and we show part of our collaboration today. And of course, we hope that this collaboration will continue in various new projects. So thank you very much. Well, we present today a book on religion and ecology. There are not so many books, in fact, on religion and ecology, at least not from a religious studies point of view. And one of the issues I always ask myself is why did religious studies come in so late? I mean, if you look at the history, and the history is written a little bit by Zainal, Pa Zainal in the introduction to the book, we have a study of Rachel Carson about pesticides already in the late 1950s, when she published her beautiful book on the silent revolution. But she did her research in the late 1980s. We have, of course, the books of Syed Nasser, more from a philosophical background. We have a book of articles by Lynn White about the historical roots of our ecological crisis, but from a historical perspective. We have in Christian theology, John Cobb. But from a religious studies perspective, we came in rather late. And of course, there is a debate here how to distinguish religious studies and theology, but that's not the focus of what I want to say. And I find it a bit surprising, because when we go back to one of the founding fathers in Indonesia, Mukti Ali, he clearly favored an engaged type of scholarship. But when we look at the past history, and also at ICRS, in interreligious program in interreligious studies and CRCS, I think as scholars of religion, we were mainly focused on interpersonal relations. So we focused on Muslim-Christian relations, we focused on extremism, fundamentalism, and so on, harmony. But we did not have that broader perspective of harmony with the earth. So that more cosmocentric view, that came in rather late. And well, that is one of the reasons that it is good that we have this book now on religion and ecology from a religious studies perspective. And well, it does so not in a naive naive or uncritical way, but all the authors really show the complexity of this issue. Religion is a multi-dimensional reality. So we show really the complexity and the varieties of religion. And as Zainal writes in his introduction to the book, we did not start from a common theory, or we did not start from a common frame. So in that sense, the chapters are really varied, but there is a common approach. And so most of the chapters are based on ethnography. And even the theologians among us, even those who come from a theological background, they take in the more empirical data. And maybe that is in line with one of the publications that was authored by Pak Zain earlier, where he advocated the study of the lived practices. So let us not look at the sources of Islam, let us not look at the Bible, the canonical text, but let us look at how the canonical texts are really lived in everyday life and how people deal with their everyday life problems, shortage of water or floods or whatever, from their faith perspective. So that makes the book, I think, quite interesting and also quite relevant, because we look at it from the variety. And the variety is in the three keywords of the title, varieties of religion and ecology. You saw the video, so I don't need to go into detail, but the variety is there in relation to the topic that we study, ecology. There is a variety of topics studied, challenges, land issues, water. We talk about rivers, we talk about the ocean, we talk about rainwater, we talk about lakes, we talk about mountains and health. So there is a variety of ecological challenges that are discussed in the book. Moreover, there is also a variety in terms of religion. We not only look at the ecological challenge from the perspective of Islam, or Christianity, or Hinduism, or indigenous religion, but we also look at it from the hybridity, or the way different religious perspectives interact with each other, and that makes the book also quite interesting. And last but not least, there are various ways of looking at the relationship between religion and ecology, but also taking into account the secular worldview. So how do secular worldviews interact with religious understandings? How do they compete and collaborate? But also how they are mixed in our everyday practices to overcome the ecological crisis or challenge. Well, let me end here by expressing once again my gratitude to all the partners that were involved, all the stakeholders, my gratitude to UGM for making this possible, both ICRS and CRCS, expressing also my gratitude because of the good relationship between UGM and Radboud University. And let me quote by the words that the Vice Rector quoted, as we always say in Nijmegen, and those of you who are in Nijmegen, after every doctoral defense, we close the doctoral defense in nomine Dei feliciter. I give back the floor to Zainal.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you very much, Frans. Well, next, I'd like to ask Michael to give your remarks. Please, Michael Northcott.
Great, thank you very much, everyone. I hope that my internet is sufficient for this. I'm staying in the rainforest in Bali, so it's a very beautiful environment. 97 species of birds, the greatest variety of wild bird species I've encountered in 4 islands so far. of Indonesia. It's a great privilege to be part of this book and to have helped bring it to fruition. Well, the first of the book is a series of case studies, every one of which, well, virtually every one of which, 7 out of 9 chapters are really about the current form of development in Indonesia and its consequences for people on the ground. I first taught a course on religion and ecology in CRCS-UGM 2013. I still strongly remember the first class I taught, where I simply invited the students to describe their own experience of religion and the environment. Every student came back with a story of a local ecological disaster. Virtually everyone had such a story emanating from their own home kampung. And these stories were about development. And so our book, to me, is a record of the ongoing crisis between the multi-religious cultures of Indonesia and the powerful narrative of technological and economic dominion, which of course many do say is Western in origin, which drives forward development still in this country with the aid of bulldozers, chainsaws, cement mixers, limestone mining to create more cement, and development companies, both public agencies and private agencies. And what I think our book shows is that religion does provide a very important focus for Indonesian people across the archipelago to mobilize forms of resistance to this very dominant capitalist, technological, industrial approach to the environment, which is, of course, the origin of the ecological crisis. I think that it is wrong to say that the origin is Christian, except in as much as we have to acknowledge that it was Christianity, particularly in its Western Latin form, which birthed the idea of matter as purely matter, available for human reordering. And from there, we have the scientific revolution, and then the industrial revolution, which scientific ideas were applied en masse to the making of artifacts, to the growth of houses, and of course, the accumulation of capital. So for me, the book is a book of hope, of hopeful stories, which show how religion has played a significant and continues to do so in responding creatively, positively to ecological crisis. The particular chapter I wrote tried to survey this field by looking first at the role of religion in Dutch colonial efforts to set aside some of the more precious and more biodiverse landscapes in Java as national parks, particularly the mixed forests in the west and on the highland, which remain national parks today. Of course, I then go on to review how that development from the colonial time takes new forms in the post-colonial era, including looking at the whole issue of environmental health and its interconnection with environmental justice, and more recently, the COVID-19 pandemic. The issue of justice, environmental justice, is really a big issue for Indonesia. It first arose, this concept of environmental justice, in relationship to the awareness in the United States that the sites of greatest pollution in the United States, from chemical factories, from traffic pollution, and from toxic waste dumps, were almost invariably either in the Native American reserves, or more often in the areas of the states where large numbers of Black and Spanish people live. And this study, the first study that proved this, was sponsored by a group of Black churches. So very early on, you have this religious interest in environmental justice in that study. And you see a book on environmental justice around the issue of the recognition of indigenous people. Because a number of our case studies are from our really fine group of students, postgraduates mainly, some of whom are now in positions around Indonesia in academia, looking at the impact of the development on particular indigenous groups and landscapes. And so in Indonesia, the issue of environmental justice often arises in relationship to indigenous groups who are, in a sense, collectively a minority, who until very recently have been excluded from legal recognition by the strange circumstance that indigenous religions are excluded from the core definition of what it is to be an Indonesian citizen, which was linked in the Pancasila to 5 religions. And
oh, yeah. Unfortunately, I think. Hi, Michael. I still see Michael Northcott, but
just briefly lost my
connection.
But I think probably that's enough for me anyway.
Okay.
Just to send thank you to my colleagues, Pak Zain and France. It's been a really great project to work on. I want to congratulate particularly the young scholars in the group who make up the book. Some of them I've taught in CRCS in 2013 and again in 2019-20. And for me, this is a really wonderful example of collaboration between graduate students and their teachers and bringing their dissertations, because many of the chapters began as master's dissertations, into a form of scholarly publication. And that's, yes, it's a really great thing, I think, that the students have done in contributing in this way to what is an impressive collection of case studies. And I commend it to you all, and I hope some of you will be able to get hold of the physical, real world material copy of the book at some point in the not too distant future. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Michael. A nice introduction. I should say Michael's chapter actually also review the environmentalism, the movement for natural conservation in Indonesia since many years ago, and then see what is the future after this age of COVID-19, unfortunately. Okay, so our next, it is of course unfortunate that we cannot ask all the authors one by one. We have 9 authors, but you have listened at least to their voice in the film, and I think all of them, or almost all of them, are now present with us. They will be available to respond to the questions later. But for now, I'd like to ask Mbak Dewi Chandra Ningrum, Dr. Dewi Chandra Ningrum, who is in Solo. Dewi is a founder of Jajar Wadon and still runs this initiative until now. But Dewi has also several times, actually in the past few years, come to UGM Graduate School building to teach a few sessions on our religion and ecology class. So I guess some of the authors of the book are also your students, Dewi. And I'm happy, although Dewi is not 100% healthy, but she's strong, and she's here with us to give her remarks on the book. And again, I'd like to say thank you, because you say yes to these invitations last week, and you don't have much time to read the book. Okay, Mbak Devi, please, time is yours.
Ya, terima kasih pada UGM yang sudah memberikan kepercayaannya kepada saya. Thanks a lot for the invitation. I said yes when I was fully healthy, and now I am ill. Yeah, I am strong enough to read my summary, or my opinion of the book. This book introduces the newly and rare emerging field of religion and ecology, and traces its development over the last several decades in Indonesia. And it is part of the important publication of the Nijmegen Studies in Development and Cultural Change. Congratulations once again. And this book that we launched today, once again, the title is Varieties of Religion and Ecology, Dispatches from Indonesia. So from the title, it is not about the Netherlands, but it is about Indonesia, all the 9 chapters. It explores human relations to the natural world as differentiated in religious and cultural tradition. In particular, it investigates the symbolic and lived expression of this interconnection in diverse religious texts, ethics, and practices. In addition, it draws on the scientific fields of the ecology for an understanding of the dynamic process of Earth ecosystem. It explores parallel development in human-Earth relation defined as religious ecology. Similarly, it identifies narratives that orient human to the cosmos, namely religious cosmology. For many years, science, engineering, policy, law, and economics were considered indispensable for understanding and resolving environmental problems. We now have abundant knowledge from this discipline about environmental issues, but still not sufficient will to engage in long-term change for the flourishing of the Earth community. Now Indonesia is becoming the epicentrum of the COVID-19, and Indonesia is among 1 to 5 the most dangerous place for the children during this pandemic. Even though I cannot protect my difabel son, my son with disabilities, because he is also infected. Because I cannot, because I am the sole caregiver of him, so I have protected him in many ways, but I can't. This book was published so timely during this pandemic, and there is a growing realization that religion, spirituality, ethics, and value can make contribution in collaboration with science and policy to address complex and ecological issues. For Indonesia now, with the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, our community were attested to think logically related how to handle with COVID-19 pandemic. So it is really a national attest for all of us. This book exemplifies this contribution and acknowledging both problem and promises of religions. While environmental devastation is not in and of itself a new thing, the scope of the current crisis makes for a totally new life situation. Millennia ago, over-irrigation may have destroyed the fertility of much Babylonia, and Native American may have extinguished several species of megafauna before they developed their nature honoring spiritual tradition, but humans simply did not have the power to transform climate, initiate mass extinction, or make sunlight more dangerous. Above all, earlier ecological problems were local, confined to a region, a community, even an empire. Our plight today is global. There simply is no escape from it on this planet, the COVID-19. In the foreword, Toyn Smith, Professor of Sustainable Water Management, Radboud University, wrote, "Within this context, the book is an important source of information. It helps us realize a better intercultural understanding and mutual respect between the Netherlands and Indonesia. Additionally, it provides guidelines on how to join forces in a concerted action to save our planet and with that the future of the human race." Zainal Bakir in the introduction wrote, "Religion relates to the environmental crisis in several ways. First, as seen in the earliest analysis of the relation between the Muslim and Christian world, where some form of religion or its rejection was identified as among the causes of the environmental crisis." So first, religion is the causes. Second, partly as consequence of the first, religion is expected to contribute to the solution of the problem. Religion may contribute in ways that are different from how science, technology, and policy engage with the environment. The goal of the book as a whole is to make available in one place a comprehensive, organized, and high-quality research in religion and ecology. It will be of use to scholar or intellectual who is unacquainted with the subject, to the scholar knowledgeable about one area, say Christianity and ecology, who decides to know more about related issues, ecology from other traditions, to the reasonably educated non-academic environmentalist or religious professional who is interested in this vital connection, and to the undergraduate and graduate student researching in religion and ecology. In terms of organization, the book reflects the several dimensions of the field. Each chapter in the part is shaped by the boundaries of the particular religious tradition that they wrote. The chapters in this book are not guided by a common theoretical framework, but it intends to scope all that tradition. It is my firm belief that religions respond to the environmental crisis as well as to the social forces of industrialization, globalization, militarization, consumerism, which give rise to the crisis, will be the single most important factor in determining whether religion will be a vital part of the humanity future or religion sink into the increasing irrelevance. The essay in this book and the challenge, thus there is every reason to expect that if humanity can somehow learn to live without destroying other species and poisoning itself, religion will be one of the forces teaching us how to do it and encouraging us to do so. Within this context, the book entitled Varieties of Religion and Ecology, Dispatches from Indonesia, is a vital and rare information that need to be spread. So congratulations for the publication. Pak Zainal, I think that is my comment to the book. Would you like me to ask all other writers to give a talk about their paper for 5 minutes, or should I hand the time to you?
Yeah, I will now go to the next session, Mbak Dewi.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'd like to, well, thank you very much, Dewi Chandraningrum, for your kind words about this publication. And yeah, I'd like to, again, I just checked, actually almost all of the authors of this book are present in this chat. I mean, present in this Zoom. you have listened to your voice, and if you are interested to know more about their chapters, you are, or if you have any comments to whatever has been said in this meeting by Devi, Franz, and Michael, you can write in the chat, and then they will respond. I would also like to acknowledge that I have seen here our other partners before from NICMCR, who was also present here. But yeah, for now, I leave it up to you if you have any comments or questions to the authors who have spoken here, as well as to the authors. I want to mention again the authors of this book. There is Ilham. Ilham is here. Ilham is from the An-Nukayah Institute of Islamic Studies in Madura. And then we have Ripka Ninaris Barus, who graduated from CRCS and now work at CRCS, who did her research on Sasi in Maluku. And then we have Maharani Hapsari, who is also here. Rani teaches at the Department of International Relations, Faculty of Social and Political Science, UGM. And then Haryani, who is a co-author of Franz Wysen. Daudse Hombing, an independent writer. Daud is also here, so I'm happy that you are all here. And then there is Professor Emmanuel Gerrit Singgi, who writes his chapter with a team from Universitas Kristen Duta Wacana. Pak Gerrit is from the Faculty of Theology. And then Subandri Simbolon from the State Catholic College of Pontianak, who is also here. We have Jekonia, who graduated from CRCS and now is a student at ICRS. Yeah, I think that's all. Well, there are a few other co-authors which I have not mentioned. I mean, the team of Pa Gerrit, for example. But yeah, again, please, if you have any comments or yeah, question, or yeah, any remarks you want to mention, we have some time now. Otherwise, I would like to offer, if any of the authors in this book, while we are waiting for the comments, if you want to say something about your chapter, probably also responding to what have been mentioned by our earlier speakers. I have seen Pak Gerrit, for example. Pak Gerrit, you want to say something? Or Mbak Rani?
No, I just, Franz has referred to Lynn White, and I remember that Michael has commented or responded to in length to White's thesis in an anthology.
Yeah.
But also, when Franz said he's surprised that there are so little literature on the relationship between religion and ecology, well, I don't know, but there are already 2 anthologies which discuss the relation between religion and ecology. The first is edited by David and Ellen Spring, and the second is by Ted Levasseur and Anna Peterson. The first in 1974, and the second is from just recently from 2017. That's where Michael's article is also included.
Gerrit, I was not speaking about books about religion and ecology in general, but I was speaking about the specific discipline religious studies.
Okay.
I noted that there are historians, biologists, philosophers, theologians, John Cobb, but I was typically referring to the disciplines that we nowadays call religious studies, and that is striking because in my view, that discipline came in rather late in the debate, as far as I know, but Michael may correct me if I'm wrong. So there are many books on religion and ecology, but written from different perspectives and not so much from the perspective of the discipline of religious studies, if you call it a discipline. That is another debate, of course.
Okay, yeah, thank you for the notes, Pak Gerrit. Other authors, there is Ripka, Rani, Bandri. Please, if any of you just open. Okay, Mas Ancu, you have a question. Please, Mas Ancu, you can just open your microphone.
All right, Fazen, thank you very much. So glad, so happy to have this book launched and also launched this way. And so I have a question with regard to that. We make it significant. I mean, launching the book like this, it seems to me that we make it so significant. The title, Religion and Ecology. And so my question in relation to that, it is launched, it is published within the context of religious studies. CRCS and CRS, Radboud are in religious studies. And so my question to that is that why religion and ecology within the study of religious studies? Is it very important? Why it is very important? And if it is very important, what is the future of it? Like where to bring this religion and ecology, if we want to include it or put it as a significant subject in religious studies? Where to bring? What is the future? Is there any challenges that it needs to anticipate? And so we can develop these subjects as a significant subject within religious studies. We understand that CRCS and ICRS, it is a course. We have that, we engage the issue. But is there any way that we should do it further? Mbak Dewi was saying that this is important and we need to spread it more in a broader context. And so can religious studies contribute to that, signifying the subject into wider context? And what is the wider context that it needs to respond? Thank you very much, Fazen.
Yeah, thank you, Mas Ancu. Well, Mas Ancu, Samsul Marif is the head of CRCS, Center for Religious and Cross-Cultural Studies, and he has given a good example. If you have anything, any questions, or you want to respond to this question, you just raise your virtual hand, like what he did. So in that way, I can immediately see you. So please, many of our authors, if you are ready, just raise your virtual hand, like what Ancu just did. Okay, Franz has raised his hand. Okay, Franz, you want to respond to Ancu, I guess. I would like also, Mbak Dewi, since Ancu was asking about your statement that this is important, and his question is, yeah, why is it important, and how should it be developed into? Okay, Franz, please.
maybe responding briefly to what Anshu said. So a way forward for me, at least one of the issues that I see is the fragmentization of the debate. So I would say for religious scholars, it is important to have more interdisciplinary research. During the past weeks, I gave talks to various universities, and that they say, okay, ITS or ITB, so from a technological perspective or from a theological perspective. But what I see is that there's quite some fragmentation in the debate. And so a way forward for religious studies is to look at it more from a comprehensive approach and also contribute to more technological ways or management or policy making debates. So make your voice heard there. So I see that as a challenge for the future for religious studies.
Okay, another hand raised. I think that's Bandri. Is that you, Bandri?
Yes, Pak Zain.
Yeah, okay, you can show your face. Oh, so you have to...
Yeah, I have two accounts here because my laptop camera does not work well. So I use my cell phone camera.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, the question of Mas Anju question is I think it's very important too to bring us to realize what's the importance of the religious studies to approach this issue. Based on my experience when I did my research in 2014, honestly, for me, religious studies give us a broad opportunity to approach the fact of how indigenous people, in the context of my study, Batak Toba people, engage with the environment. If we compare with the previous study about Batak people, the approach that they use by many scholars before is theologian, and they didn't was that bring Batak people as a Batak people point of view. So religious studies for me very important to understand how Batak people understand how they see, how they engage to the environment. So, for example, my research tried to approach that the Batak people activity with the ecology by using indigenous religion perspective. So there is at least I tried to deconstruct how to understand them, how to understand their relation with the nature, their relation with the other non-human being. Previous study about their relation said that Batak people is Ispelibegu, as a ghost worshipper, but based on indigenous religion perspective, religious studies perspective, they are not worshipping a tree. Batak people didn't worship the lake, didn't worship the mountain, but it was the build relation, intersubjective relation with them. Intersubjective was bring a certain kind of relation that we, from the religious studies perspective, there is a reciprocal ethic, and when a Batak people did ecological activity, and the same times they build relationship. Their ethic relationship, their reciprocal relationship, not hierarchical relationship, as the previous studies said from theological perspective. So for me, religious studies is very important to approach this issue. In the wider perspective, what is the challenge? I didn't see yet. Maybe Professor can show us about that. Thank you, Pak Zain.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mas Bandri. Although you hear the sound of adhan in the background, Mas Bandri doesn't teach in an Islamic university, but actually in the Catholic College in Pontianak. His chapter is titled "The Indigenous Religion of the Toba Batak People: An Ecological Perspective." Okay, thank you for your remark, Mas Bandri. Okay, are there other comments or questions? I haven't seen other comments. Well, I'd like to acknowledge a few of our partners, colleagues, who is also active in religion and ecology. There is Pak Fahrudin Mangunjaya, who is here. And then there's Jan Jorit Haslar from Vrije University, Amsterdam. Hi, Jan. We are also actually part of the same working group of ecology in the NICMCR. Are you, Pak Rudy or Jan? You have something to say, to comment? Please, if you
thank you, Pak Jenal.
Yeah, please, Pak
Thank
Rudy.
you for the opportunity to speak. I would like to say hello to Professor Franz as well, my colleague, Professor Northcote. I didn't know you are in Bali. You're locked down there. Thank you for these books, and of course, it's a productive thing to do during the lockdown, and we are prized for the ICRS and CRCS in Yogyakarta for enriching our knowledge, particularly for Indonesia, which is many particular, many wisdom, traditional things that we can take to see our religious perspective as well, the cultural perspective, which is sometimes related to the best practices of how then the culture can help the nature. This is very interesting, of course, enriching, and also so many things we can find in the next time for the study. As Indonesia has so many diverse cultural and diverse ecology, diverse diversity, diverse religious as well practice. We see this is particularly in so many islands that we have, from Sabang to Merauke. Thank you for these books. Appreciate for religion and ecology ICRS for this progress. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Rudy. Jan Jorit, I see you just sent a link to your new book. So yeah, please, if you wanna speak about it.
Thank you very much, Pas Steinol from Amsterdam. Selamat sore to all of you in Indonesia, and goedemorgen to my colleagues in the Netherlands. It's a pleasure to have us all here in this Zoom meeting. Thank you very much for the book. I'm really looking forward to go through it and to see all your contributions. As some of you know, at the Vrije Universiteit Amsterdam, we have the Amsterdam Center for Religion and Sustainable Development. As such, I'm also part of the Pokja on religion and ecology. 2 years ago, we organized together with the cities of Jakarta, Cape Town, and Amsterdam, the symposium Water in Times of Climate Change, a Values-Driven Dialogue, with contributions from religion, from business, from cities, from students as well. And to help forward the conversation, to help forward the relationships, we have made a quite beautiful book. I have put the link to the book in the chat. We are looking forward to cooperate more with all of you on the theme of religion and ecology, religion, sustainable development. This November, as part of the Amsterdam International Water Week, we will have a roundtable on religion and water, religion, climate change. Also an invitation to Paul and Paul Frans to join, and to all of you to join as well. I will come back to that later on. So thank you very much for the book. It's a brilliant opportunity to explore further ways forward with one another. So congratulations and thanking for the invitation to join this book lounge.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Jan Jorit. It's 3:29 now, so it's almost time for us to close. I'd like to give an opportunity if anyone still has something to say. I will ask if there's no other remarks. Maybe, Dewi, you wanna give some closing statement? You're still there. Okay, yeah, you're still there. Please.
Yeah, it is a bit difficult for me to talk right now. I have like to gather some strength and air to talk because my throat is sorely ill. Well, in Indonesia now, religion is always becoming the major guiding sources for making transformation. And when I heard that religion contribute to our climate crisis, to our environmental degradation, it is always a good news. So it is indispensable, it is very vital, it is rare, and it is in need in our critical situation now. Yes, this book is very important, and I wish that it is not only at the elite level because we talk in English, because we publish in English. I wish that more publication that goes at the grassroots level will also flourish, which will be led later by CRCS and Radboud University. Congratulations.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Devi, for that fitting closing remark. We're actually thinking of making it available in Bahasa Indonesia. Yeah, we need to make it more available to the publics on which this book was written about. So this book is actually about Indonesia. So we will make it available. We publish it in English. So Mas Bandri also has some pride of his publication and others. So, but yeah, thank you very much. And I think that also responds to Mas Ancho's question before. So what is this field as a field in religious studies could contribute? Well, for this big issue of environmental problems, of environmental crisis, anyone, anything, any forum, any avenues should be made use of to contribute to its solution. So we, I mean, many of us who are in the religious studies cycle, we also need to contribute not only in terms of doing research, but raising awareness and thinking about what can help our only Earth for the present times as well as in the future. So with that, I end this meeting. And again, thank you very much, everyone who have been here in the Zoom forum as well as on YouTube. And we are happy that you have you have been with us for 90 minutes, and we hope we can see each other again and discuss this very important topic. Okay, see you again later. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you for organizing, Zainul. Great job. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So, yeah, I think the video is also quite nice.